I think it's time we talk about Njabulo Blom. So this weekend we had Nabi substituting Aiden McCarthy. Aiden McCarthy looked like he had a problem with his groin, right? So he was taken off and Blom was about to be introduced. But then the camera panned into Nabi having some sort of argument with Blom. And Nabi looked like he was pissed off. And now most people have just gone straight to the fact that, oh, Blom was probably mad at the fact that Nabi was making him play left back. And here's the thing. If a coach says play left back, you play left back. If the coach says play right back, you play right back. And I think that there's a reason why the coach would even say play that position. And no one should be in a position where they think that they are above the coach. That's if, by the way, that's what the argument was about. Because me, when I saw it, I thought the argument was about the fact that Blom was taking too long to change. That was my assumption. But now people have then taken sides and people are saying, oh, this plumber, why did he not move Mtetwa into a defender and then put Dove as a left back and then push up Blom as a defensive midfielder? How do you make so many changes in a game against a team that is gaining momentum and expect to not destabilize the structure of the team? Because at times when you make too many changes, the Mtetwa came on to change someone. Now you're also changing Mtetwa's position and you're changing the structure of your back line. And on top of that, you're introducing a new player into that midfield. So you are now making multiple changes at a critical point in a game. And then you concede and then you say that Blamba made a mistake. So making one change, which is just playing Blom as a left back, although he's out of position, it's still a manageable change. Yazi, as the more I coach, the more I realize how much I've seen it in matches, and I see coaches like Pep Guardiola, unless he's really desperate, he will make multiple changes. But for the most part, he makes one or two changes here and then waits another 10-15 minutes for the two people who just went in, and then he makes more changes. But coaches, like elite coaches, don't just usually make 10 unrelated changes or 4 unrelated changes up front, at the back, in the middle, all at once. It destabilizes the structure of the team. But whatever that was happening, the problem that we saw between Blom and Nabi, I think that it highlights a deeper problem that we should also address with Blom. Since Blom came back to Chiefs, he's not been the stopper that we know. On Facebook, if you go to my Facebook, you will see Njabulo Blom is the display picture, whatever that you call it. He is, the wallpaper of sorts, because that's how excited I was for Blom to come back to Chiefs. I even said that, I think this was after Siren was signed, I said he was the best signing that Chiefs had made. And I meant it, because I thought we're getting the Njabulo Blom who left Kaizer Chiefs, the Njabulo Blom who controlled midfield. And then he wasn't given game time. And then we're like, why is Blom not being given game time? But then he was given game time. Because initially it was, he's still probably recovering because he came back from not playing in the States. And then he comes back to South Africa. He's been given time to recover. But did he recover? Did he show any signs of improvement? No. Because he always just looked heavy. He looked fatigued. He just looked like a shadow of the player that he once was. And that's disappointing given the fact that he is such a quality player. So then the question is, how do you move from being that Blom and to being the Blom who was elevated under Bradley Cannell at St. Louis, and then all of a sudden just fell from grace and then started doing so terrible? But what if Blom changed? That's now the question, because remember that Blom was supposed to come to the national team, and then Bruce ended up dropping him and calling up someone else because I think he lied about having an injury or he said something. So Bruce dropped him, and some people were saying, Vele Blom, rightfully so, didn't come to the national team because he wasn't going to start. So we wanted Blom to come in and start ahead of Tebogo Mokoena and Uspephele Sithole, who had been playing together and who have been playing together for Bafana Bafana and have helped Bafana Bafana to get to the semi-finals of the AFCON. Is that what you guys are saying? Are we so loyal to Chiefs that we are going to end up making calls based on how we feel and not based on evidence? Bafana Bafana is filling stadiums all across South Africa, something that has not happened over the past 15-20 years. And now, since the combination of Sithole and Mokoena has been working, why change it just because you want to make Kaizer Chiefs fans happy? Shouldn't do it. And Bruce, has rightfully so, has refused to be bullied by Kaizer Chiefs fans. He continues to choose people based on what he thinks is right. And it works. So Blom didn't show up because people were saying, Vele Blom did the right thing. If he was called up, he was not going to be played. Okay, fine. We move on from Hugo Bruce. By the way, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the video. Then Bradley Kennel gets fired by St. Louis, right? And then the new coach comes in, and then Blom has an issue with him, or the coach has an issue with Blom, whichever way. Now, this is football. It happens sometimes that two adults can clash and have an issue, right? But the issue happens when now a quality player of Njabulo Blom's caliber comes into a position whereby our club captain, as good as he is, as much as he works his socks off, Blom, quality-wise, is better than any other central defensive midfielder that Kaizer Chiefs has. Not talking about Cele is an exception because he can classify him as a central midfielder. Or even if you call him a defensive midfielder, but their profiles are slightly different. Uplomo mixes the destroyer part with also the progression part a bit, but Ucele is much more of a deep-lying playmaker. He makes the team play. Uplom can play from the back and build from the back with the team, but Ucele is much more effective. So they're slightly different, although almost similar, but they're slightly different. The point is, a player of Blom's caliber comes to Kaizer Chiefs and he still gets benched. And then we see things like that. We see him not improving in terms of performance. We see him seemingly clashing with the coach. Now the question is, do we still think that Nabi is the problem, Bruce is the problem, the coach who came after Bradley Kennel is the problem? Or is it possible that something has gone wrong with Blom? Is it possible that perhaps his attitude has changed ever so slightly? No one is perfect, so it's possible that that's exactly what might have happened. Or it could be just an unfortunate and coincidental thing. It's just that it's very difficult for me to believe that it's a coincidence after it happens 3 times. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.